Hey everybody, it's Jeff Poulette bringing you this three-part free video training series from Let'sBeginWP.com. How do you create an amazing looking website worth $2,800 and completely customize it so that you can get your brand or message online without having any experience or knowing any fancy coding? How do you do all that? Well, in this free training series, I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how to do it from start to finish with no step skipped. And not only are you going to learn how to create a website, which is similar to ones which clients have paid myself or my company more than $3,000 to make, but the website that I'm going to teach you how to make today will be created on the same platform that's used and trusted by many Fortune 500 companies, music artists, news companies, technology companies, and some very famous blogs. So we're going to be covering a lot of information today, so let me give you an overview about what we're going to cover. Some things that you're going to learn today are how to get a domain name, how to sign up for hosting, how to install WordPress, and if you've never used WordPress before, or even if you have no idea what WordPress is, don't worry, you're definitely going to learn that today. You're going to learn how to install an incredibly powerful, free, and responsive theme called Spacious. You're going to learn how to configure your website, how to add pages, how to set up a blog, how to customize your homepage, how to embed YouTube videos, how to add images and format text, how to add a Google map, and how to add plugins, widgets, and a contact form. So you can definitely see that we're going to cover a lot of information today. And just remember to make sure you opted in at Let'sBeginWP.com to receive the other videos in this series, especially the one about securing your website. That one has some very important information that you need to know. So let me give you a tour of the website that we're going to make today. So the first thing that you'll notice is that the website is very clean and professional looking. So what that means is that you can use this website either for yourself or for your business. And one thing that's very unique about this website is that it's fully responsive. So it doesn't matter whether your visitors are using a smartphone, a tablet, or the regular computer. What's going to happen is the website will automatically detect the device that they're using, and it's going to resize on their screen and look perfect. So this is something that some developers charge hundreds, if not thousands of dollars extra to do. But with this website, it's already done for you. So let me give you a quick idea about how this looks. If we go ahead and resize the browser, one thing that you'll notice is everything moves automatically and resizes depending on your browser's width. So you'll see here that we have a logo at the top, and now we have a responsive drop-down menu so people can navigate to the different pages on your site. And this makes it a lot easier if they're trying to view your website on a device with a smaller screen. So the responsive feature is something that your visitors will definitely appreciate. And you might not be aware of this, but Google just recently made a massive change to their algorithm for what makes a website show up higher on the list of search results. So now they put a huge emphasis on mobile-friendly responsive websites. But with this website, you don't need to worry about that because it's going to look great on smartphones and tablets. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and change the web page back to the normal size. And some of the things that we're going to cover today are how to create the slider with moving images like you see here. You're going to learn how to design a logo and add it to your website. You're going to see how to create pages, and then how to add those pages to the main menu, like you also see here. You're going to learn how to add a call to action banner with a contact button. You're going to see how to add these icons and these three sections right here. You're going to see how to add this section where you can put information about your company or other text you'd like to put here. We're going to add 2 testimonials on this section. And we're also going to have this Our Services section where you can highlight the different services that you offer, and then visitors can click on these sections to get more information about each specific service. If you wanted, you could also do something different here and feature members of your staff. Or if you have any projects such as graphic design or web page development, then you could feature 3 of them here as an example. And then you're going to learn how to add these items to the footer like you see here, like the About Us section, the Recent Posts section. You'll see how to add an additional menu. And you'll see how to have your contact information show up right here. So let me show you a little bit how the inner pages look. The first thing that will show you is the About Us page. On this page, I'm going to show you how to add a heading, how to add the text underneath the heading, how to embed a YouTube video, and how to add a link that your visitors can click on. You'll also see how to add a sidebar with items like a Facebook like box or a recent post section. You're going to learn how to add a services page with an image that's floated to the right side of the text. You're going to learn how to add a blog with blog posts like you see here. And you're going to learn how to add a contact page, which has a Google map embedded with your contact information on the right side of the page. And then like I was mentioning before, one thing that you'll notice with this page, since the web page is responsive, if we go ahead and resize the contact page, we'll see that the contact form moves to the top of the page, and then the Google map and the contact information moves underneath. So this is very user-friendly if someone's looking at your webpage on a smartphone with a smaller screen. So this should give you a good overview about the website that I'm going to teach you how to make today. And believe it or not, clients have paid a lot more than $3,000 for websites similar to this one. But today I'm going to teach you step by step how to make this exact same website. So you might be wondering exactly how much it costs to make a website like this. So what I'd like to do is break down exactly how much it's going to cost to get your website up and running. So the first thing that we need to do is get hosting. And if you don't know what hosting is, it's basically a computer, also called a server, that's on all day, every day, that stores the files that you see when you visit a web page. To put it very simply, it's kind of like when you're on Facebook and you upload a picture. What you're really doing is uploading that picture to their computer, and once it's on their computer, then all of your friends can access it. So that's what hosting is. It's really a computer that's on 24/7, 365 days a year, and it stores all the files for your website. And you pay for your hosting monthly, so that's going to cost you about $10 a month with a company called HostGator. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a coupon code, so it's only going to cost you 1 penny for the first month, so I hope that really helps you out. And for full disclosure, in order to get that coupon code and make sure it's always available for you, we had to sign up for an affiliate account, so they do pay a small referral commission when you sign up. But I personally use HostGator for my websites, and I definitely recommend it if you need a reliable, inexpensive, and easy to use web host. So one of the next things that you're going to need to do is get a domain name. The domain name is like www.yourwebsite.com. This is what someone types in when they want to go to your website. So if you go to Google, then you type in www.google.com, and that's Google's domain name. And that'll cost you about $12.95 per year. And you can have as many domain names as you want for this hosting, but you just pay $12.95 per year per domain name. And then the next thing that we're going to need is WordPress, the theme design, and the development. As I mentioned before, WordPress is used by many, many companies and famous brands, and your website is going to be used with the same technology and platform that they use. So what WordPress is it's basically a content management system, or CMS, as you might hear. And it's basically a way of saying that it manages your content, so instead of you having to know all different types of technical code like JavaScript, PHP, HTML, and CSS, it takes care of that for you. So you'll see exactly how that works in a moment when we're going through everything. And then you have the theme, which is basically the way the website works. There are many free themes for WordPress and many paid themes as well. And once you get familiar with WordPress, you could try the different types of themes depending on what features you're looking for, and you can see which one works best for your particular website needs. There are literally thousands of different themes, but today we're going to be using one of the best free themes that I've seen, so that will give you a really good idea about how to do everything when we get started. So overall, the cost for WordPress, your theme design, and the development of your theme is going to cost you absolutely nothing. So for this website, it normally would cost you about $2,800 if you were going to have a developer do this for you. But the total that you're going to pay for the hosting, domain name, theme, design, and development is a total of less than $20, which I think is excellent considering you're going to learn how to do this yourself. And you're also going to be able to manage your new website and make changes to it without having to rely on anyone else. So one thing I could tell you is that after doing this for many years, the majority of people get easily overwhelmed when you tell them to create and launch a new website on the internet. They think that creating a website is this extremely ridiculously difficult skill, only reserved for people who are somehow magically gifted with abilities to create a website, or they think that it's necessary to have a master's degree or spend years studying computer programming. But really, I'm here to tell you that it's not that difficult and you could do this. Once you see how simple it really is, then you can have all types of opportunities open up for you, such as creating websites for a company that you're working for, getting paid to create websites for other people or companies, or just getting your advice, knowledge, and wisdom out there to help people. So your website becomes your vehicle for making a difference and helping people, whether it's through offering products that you have for sale, letting people know about the services that you offer, or just letting people know your advice to help them out. So there are many different things that you can do once you learn the key fundamentals. So you may be wondering, why should you listen to me? As you might already know, I actually learned how to create websites completely by accident, and I really had no intention of ever creating a professional website. But I was working for a company where they had a terrible experience with a team of developers, so I was in a position where I had to learn basically in a weekend how to redo and fix the company's website, or we were going to lose thousands of dollars because of it. At the time, I had absolutely no idea what PHP, JavaScript, or almost any programming language was, but now I realize that even if you have no idea about programming, that anyone can create an amazing website even if you have absolutely no experience at all, and I'm going to show you that today. And then fast forward until now, and myself and the staff of my company have created and maintained websites for some of the largest international organizations, IT companies, health and fitness companies, and so many others. So I know how it is. You don't know exactly where to start. You're probably overwhelmed and scared and thinking you can't actually make an amazing website. I always thought, how can I really create a website if it's so technical and I didn't spend years studying how to do it? I remember going through the same process, but let me tell you, you can do it and you will do it. And once you learn how easy it really is to get started, then you can either update your existing website or you can get your new website online and get your presence out there so you can help people change and improve their lives or business with your content, information, or services. So it's really an incredible thing to be able to do this. And once you learn, you'll forever have the ability to change a lot of people's lives. So without further ado, let's get started. So one of the first things that we're going to do is go to HostGator.com and we're going to go over to web hosting and then we're going to click choose a plan. And HostGator has three different options for the different plans that we could choose for web hosting. They have the Hatchling plan, they have the Baby plan, and they have the Business plan. The Hatchling plan is basically if you have a single domain name. So you can have www.yourwebsite.com, and this would be the main domain that you have on that plan. So if you have a personal website or just one website for your company and only plan to have one domain name, then the Hatchling plan would be perfect for you. The only difference between the Hatchling plan and the Baby plan is that the Baby plan has unlimited domain names. So that means that if you want to have multiple websites on that hosting plan, then you can actually do that with the Baby plan. And then the Business plan offers other features like a free security certificate, which would be good if you plan on having an online store with a shopping cart where people would enter their credit card numbers on your website. And also the free toll-free number may help you out too. But for this example, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Baby plan because I do like the option where it can have unlimited domain names. But you can go ahead and choose whichever one is best for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click sign up now. And the first thing that we have to do is enter the domain name that we'd like to get. If you don't already have a domain name, then you would just type the domain name here that you'd like to register. But if you already have another hosting company with a domain name and you're going to move them from there to HostGator, then you would just click on I already own this domain name. But I want to go ahead and register a new domain name. So the domain name is going to be Let's Begin WordPress. So Let's Begin WP.com. And it says the domain name is going to be $12.95 per year, which isn't too bad at all. And now we're going to go down and we're going to choose the hosting plan. So I'll select the Baby plan. But like I mentioned, if you're only going to have one website, then definitely select the Hatchling plan. And then I'm going to choose monthly for the hosting. And you can see here that the hosting is only $7.96 for the first month. And after that, it's only $9.95 per month. But what I'm going to do, like I mentioned before, is I'm going to go ahead and give you a coupon code. So it's only going to be 1 penny for you for the first month. So then here we can enter a username and security PIN. For security purposes, I'm not going to go ahead and enter that on the video. And then if we scroll down, then it asks us to enter our billing information. So you would enter your email address, your first name, last name, other contact information, and your payment information here. And then it asks what additional services would we like. For this domain name and hosting, I'm not going to select any of the additional services. But if you do see anything that you would like, then go ahead and keep them checked. But I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck them. And then if we scroll to the bottom, you'll see the amount due is $20.91. But I'm going to go ahead and enter the coupon code Let's Begin WP. And I'll click on Validate. And now you'll see the total amount due is $12.96. So basically we're paying for the domain name for 1 year. And we're paying for the hosting for the first month, which again is 1 penny. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a moment. I'm going to fill out the rest of the personal information on this form. And then once I'm finished, I'll click Checkout Now, and then I'll resume the video. So just give me 1 moment. I'll go ahead and do that. And now we're back. So that was pretty quick, right? So what I did on the other page was I filled out my contact information and my billing information. And as soon as I click Checkout, then I come to this page which says, Welcome to HostGator. And if I open up my email, I get an email from HostGator which says, you can now log into your online account. And then it will have my username and password in that email. So now I'm going to go back to the customer portal. And now I'm going to enter my email address and the password which was given to me in that email. And the next thing that we have to do is install WordPress. So I'm going to click on Hosting. And I'm going to click on Get Started with WordPress Today. And if you don't see the icon right here, then you can also click on Hosting, click Install, and click WordPress. But clicking the icon right here will also take you to that same section. And then the next page that we're taken to is the page to continue to install WordPress. So we'll go ahead and click Continue. And the next thing that it asks us for is to select where exactly we would like WordPress installed. Because I'm going to have it as my main domain name, letsbeginwp.com, I'm going to keep everything the same as it is right here. But if you'd like to have WordPress installed in another folder, then you could do that here. So for example, we could have it installed at letsbeginwp.com/blog. So when anyone goes to that URL, they would be able to see your WordPress site there. So this would actually keep it separate and would be very good if you have multiple WordPress installs on your account. But for this example, I'm just going to have it at www.letsbeginwp.com. So I'm not going to put anything in this box right here. And then we're going to enter the admin email address and then the title for the blog. So this is going to be the title of your webpage. So for mine, it's going to be Let's Begin WordPress. And then it asks for the admin username. Well, most people put here as admin for the username, but for security reasons, it's extremely important that you do not use admin as the username, because if any person or automated program is going to try to hack your website, the first username that they're going to try is admin, and they're going to try it with multiple combinations of different passwords, because they know that the majority of users are going to use that as a username. So to make it a little more difficult, let's use a different username besides admin. And then the next thing that it asks for is the first name and last name. So we'll just put that in there. And then we'll go ahead and click install. And then it says, congratulations, your installation is ready. You can now access your website by going here. And definitely just make sure you write down your username and password so you have it for future reference. So one thing to remember is that it might take 24 to 48 hours before your new domain name is live. So if you do come to your website and it says page not found, then don't worry, this is completely normal. Just go ahead and check it periodically over a period of about 24 to 48 hours, and then within that time period, you should see your web page online. So what I've done is I've already waited a little while to give this a chance to populate, so we should be okay. So now let's go ahead and go to our website and log in. So we're going to go to letsbeginwp.com/wp-admin. This is going to allow us to log into WordPress. And here we're going to come to a login screen. So here we're going to enter the username and password that was provided to us by HostGator on the last page. And then we're going to click Login. The first place that we're going to be taken to is the WordPress dashboard. And honestly, I rarely ever look at or use the dashboard, but it has many different options and information about your web page, like the number of blog posts currently on your web page, the number of pages, comments, recent activity on your website, and a lot more information. We're not going to spend too much time on the dashboard right now because most of the options are self-explanatory. So if you do prefer to use a dashboard, then you can easily access some of your website's options right from here. So the first thing that I like to do after installing WordPress is to change my password. So in order to do that, we click on Users on the left-hand side, and then we click on Your Profile. Then we scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen and you'll see two boxes. The one is a new password and a repeat new password box. So we're going to enter our new password in the first box. And then we're going to enter the password one more time in the repeat new password box. You definitely want to make sure that you're using a very secure password. Normally you want to have one that's a combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols in order to help prevent anyone unauthorized from guessing your password. And you definitely want to make sure that you see the word strong in the strength indicator box, just like it shows here. So as soon as you enter and confirm your password, just click Update Profile. Okay, so now that we've changed our password, the next thing that we need to do is disable a few plugins, which are automatically installed with WordPress. In order to make changes to the plugins, we're going to click on the Plugins option on the left-hand side of the page. We're going to cover plugins more in depth later, but basically if you don't know what plugins are, they enable you to add features to your website in order to do so many different kinds of things, which are extremely helpful, especially if you're not experienced with coding. For example, you can have a plugin to add a Facebook like box to the side of your web page, or you can have one that automatically adds a contact form to your contact page, which is very useful because WordPress doesn't automatically come with a contact form when you first install it. But don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to add a contact form in a little while when we're editing the contact page. Now, sometimes WordPress comes installed with plugins you don't really need. These are actually activated right now. Jetpack is a plugin that normally comes with WordPress, which has a lot of features which are great for beginners, but I personally very rarely use Jetpack. But some people do like to take advantage of the different features that it comes with, so you might want to click View Details right here in order to see exactly what those features are and see if it's something that would be beneficial for you. However, we're not going to use that on our website today, so we're just going to go ahead and disable that. And the next plugin is Mojo Marketplace, which basically is just trying to sell you themes and plugins, so we really don't need to use that either. And we have WP Supercache, which is a great plugin which actually makes WordPress load faster, but sometimes if you have WP Supercache and you make changes to your website, then those changes don't show up immediately, because the plugin basically saves a copy of your website and then it shows that to visitors to help it load faster. So we're going to deactivate and delete that one and the other two for right now. And just a side note, if you're editing your web page and it's not updating, then most likely it's because WP Supercache is currently activated. So definitely check on that if you're just making changes and things aren't really updating like they're supposed to. So let's select the three checkboxes to the left of those three plugins, and then we're going to click the drop-down box at the top of the web page and click Deactivate. And we're going to click Apply. Okay, so now that those are deactivated, we're just going to go ahead and also delete the plugins. So let's just click those same three checkboxes again, and then we're going to go back up to the drop-down box, and we're going to click Delete, and then Apply. And then it's going to ask us if you would like to delete all the files. And let's click Yes, delete these files. Okay, so now that those three plugins are deleted, we're going to be left with two plugins. Akismet is an excellent plugin which will help you protect your blog from spam, but we'll cover that one more in detail when we talk about securing your website in the other section of this course. And you also have Hello Dolly. Hello Dolly is honestly really pointless. It just shows lyrics from the song Hello Dolly on the top right of your admin screen. And you can also delete that one if you'd like to, but basically it's not really doing anything right now since it's deactivated, but you may just want to go ahead and delete that. So now that we've removed those unnecessary plugins, we're going to go ahead and install your theme. So themes are the main design and layout of your website, and they can completely transform your site from plain and boring to something really unique and interesting just by installing, activating, and making a few changes to the theme. And they can also add a lot of features to your website, which normally could be really difficult for you to code from scratch, especially if you're just starting out. So in order to install your theme, we're going to click on Appearance, then Themes. And we're going to click Add New at the top of the page next to the word Themes. So the theme that we're going to be using is an excellent free theme called Spacious. It's normally a featured theme, but just in case it doesn't show up for you in the featured section, we're going to go ahead and search for it. So we're going to type in Spacious in the search box, S-P-A-C-I-O-U-S, and we're going to press Enter. So now you can see the Spacious theme is the first theme that comes up in the options. So we're going to hover over the picture of the theme and click Install. And then once the theme installs, we're going to go ahead and click Activate. So now the theme's installed, if we take a look at our website, you can see that it looks a lot different than the theme that originally came with WordPress. It still looks pretty plain and boring, but we're going to change that shortly. So before we move on, let's just check on our progress so far. What we've done is we've gone ahead and got our hosting, we have our domain name, we've installed WordPress, and now we just installed our new theme. So the next part is the fun part. Let's start customizing your new website. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the pages of our website. I find that it's easier if you create all your pages before you start making too many changes to your website. Even if you don't add the content to the pages, it just really helps to keep everything organized. So in order to get started adding pages, let's click on the Pages option on the left side of the screen. And if you look on the right hand side, you can see here that we already have a sample page. All WordPress installs come with a sample page, and this is just to give you a general idea about how a basic page looks. If we hover over the page name and click on View, we can go directly to the sample page. And normally when I'm looking at pages, I usually just open them in a new tab. That just helps keep the original page open so I don't lose whatever I was working on before. So if you'd like to do that, you just right click on View, and then you click Open in New Tab. Or if you'd like, you can also just click on View and then you can use your back button on your browser to go back to the Pages section when you finish looking at the page, whichever you prefer. So you can see that the sample page looks pretty standard and boring, nothing really too exciting. So I just wanted to show you that to give you an example of how it looks. So let's just close out this page and we're going to click on Edit because I'd like to give you a really good overview about the Pages section so you're familiar with and understand everything before we get started. Okay, so this brings us to the post editor, and here we see a few things like the title, the content editing box, and the permalink of this particular page. If you're not familiar with what a permalink is, it's basically the link which goes directly to this particular page. And this is also what people will see at the top of their browser in their address bar, or in search engines before they come to this page. So that part should be fairly easy to understand. And then if you see this distraction-free writing box, just go ahead and click Dismiss. We'll talk about that in a moment. And on the right-hand side, we have a box, which has Status, Visibility, and Published on. If we click on Edit next to the Status section, you'll see that we have three options: Published, Pending Review, and Draft. Published means the page is currently live on your website. Pending Review means that it's to be reviewed by somebody. Usually that's an option that's set to allow people to create content on your website, but their own user account is set, so they are not allowed to actually publish content until it's approved. So if they select Pending Review, then it goes into a pending review state, and then someone with a higher account level, like yourself if you're the administrator, has to approve that page. And then we have draft mode, which you can use if you want to hide the content of this page from visitors to your website. It'll basically be in the draft state, and it will remain in the back end of your website and not actually live until you change the status to publish. And now if we go to visibility, you can see that we have three other options. We have public. This is basically like it is right now, where anybody can see the page. We have password protect, where you can set a password for this page, but with this, you can only put one password. So you can't give specific passwords to different people. So it's not the best way to protect pages, but for different reasons it could be useful. And then we have private. This is only for people who have a certain privilege level on your website. So if it's set to private, then the general public cannot see it. Only certain levels of users can see this page. And next we have the published on date. This will allow you to set the date when you would like this page to be live on your website. By default, the page will normally be live immediately when you click publish. But if you select this option, then you can select a date in the future and your page will not be live until then. So if I didn't want the page to go live on my website until a couple days later, then I could set the time and date right here when I want it to actually go live. So this is a lot more common with blog posts than it is with pages, because with blog posts, it will allow you to write a lot of content, and then you can schedule out the post to be added to your website on dates in the future. So it definitely will save you a lot of time if you'd like to do that. And then on the left, you can see the text area for editing the content of your page. This is what's called a WYSIWYG editor, or what you see is what you get editor. So this allows you to make a lot of changes to your text and different formatting without actually knowing the HTML code that's making those changes. So for example, if we select some text right here, then we can bold it, we can italicize it, or we could strike it out just by clicking those buttons right here. I can also make this text a bulleted list, a numbered list. I can make it a quote, which basically just indents it a little bit, and depending on the theme, it might add quotes around it. I can add a horizontal line, and I can also align the text left, center, and right. And one thing you can also do is you can make the text a link. So if we wanted to do that, we just highlight the specific text that we'd like to use, and then we click on the icon of the link on the menu. And then here a box comes up and it asks for the URL and the title. So URL is basically just the address of wherever you would like the link to go. And some people actually have some questions about the title. So the title is not the text that's actually shown in your content. It actually will only be shown to someone if they place their mouse cursor over the link and they hover over it. So if you've been to a website before where you mouse over a link and then it shows some kind of text there, then that's exactly what happens here, and that's what the title is. And then you could choose to open up the link in a new window or tab, but the website will still remain open. But I wouldn't really recommend doing this if you're just linking to some places on your own website, because it's going to open up tabs or windows and it's really unnecessary and just clutters up everything if you do that. The only time I would say that you should do this is when you're linking to someone else's website, and then yours will still be open, so they could just come back to your website and it'll still be there. And you can also click link to existing content, and when you have pages on your site, then you'll be able to select them to link to. But I won't select any pages there. We'll just go with the URL of google.com as an example, and we'll click on add link. So you can see here that the link that we selected is now a link because it's underlined and is blue. And if you'd like to change the text so now it's no longer a link, you just click on remove link. This just looks like an icon of a link breaking in the menu bar. And then we have the insert more tag. This is rarely used for pages, but could sometimes be used for posts. But you could use it, for example, if you had a list of blog posts on your homepage and you didn't want to show a lot of text from a specific post on the whole list of all the different posts on that page, then you could click insert more, and then it'll break up the text and give a more link. So someone would have to click on that link which says more, and then after that they would be taken to the whole full content of the post. But we're not really going to go into too much detail on that part right now, but you can try it out if you do want to see how it works. And then we have distraction-free writing mode. If you click there, it basically removes a lot of the options from the screen, which is good because some people don't like to have all the clutter of the regular page, and they like having more empty space for writing. So you could use that if you like, and all you need to do is just click the same button again, and you'll go back to the normal mode. And then we have the toggle toolbar. When you click here, you get a whole bunch of other features and text formatting options. One of the other features that we have is called headings. These are great for SEO or search engine optimization, and when you're calling action to a particular section or making a point on the page. Most of the time I'll use them when I want to start a completely new section or if I want to focus on something in particular. And then we have underline. This is fairly self-explanatory. And then we have justify. What justify does is it will allow you to align your text within the full width of your text area, because sometimes you might have text where you copied from other places, or you might have text wrapping around an image and it just looks weird. So you can select justify, and normally it'll fix the text, but I very, very rarely ever use justify. Normally it's fine to just stick with the line left, center, or right. The next option that we have is color. If you want to change the color of the text, then you can click on the color picker, and you could choose a color from one of the different options here, or you can also click on custom and you can get a lot more colors from the whole color spectrum. You can even type in the RGB color or the hex number for a specific color if you already know it. And then we have paste as text. This is helpful for copying text from different places and you'd like to paste it onto your page without the original formatting from the other source. And then the next option is clear formatting. If you have formatting like bold, italics, or other types of formatting, then you can select the text which you'd like to clear the formatting from, and you can click on clear formatting and it'll just make it plain text. So that's pretty easy to use. And then we have custom character. This is going to allow you to choose from a huge list of characters which aren't normally found on the keyboard. So if you wanted to add the copyright symbol here as an example, then you could just click on the symbol and it'll appear in your text. And this works really well with different web browsers. And then the next option that we have is indent. This is going to allow you to indent a paragraph because the tab doesn't work here if you're used to using that. So click here if you just want to indent it or outdent your text. And then the next one is undo, which we all know is very useful. If you make a mistake, just click on undo and you'll go back to how it was before you made the mistake. And redo is the next option. If you undo something and you want to do it again, then there's the redo option there. And lastly, you have the keyboard shortcuts. This just brings up a nice list of different keyboard shortcuts that you can use to make it a little bit faster for you as you're going through and editing your text. And on the right hand side, you'll see that we have some other options. We have templates. Templates are already coded pages which control the look of your page. So this is extremely useful if you would like one of your pages to look completely different than the other pages on your website. So you can see here that we have 3 templates. We have the default template, which all the pages use by default. We have the contact page template, and we have the business template. When we create the home page and the contact page, you'll see exactly how those other 2 templates work. We're just going to keep this one on default because we're not going to use another template for this page. And then the next option we have is order. This can be used for a couple different things. It could be used to set the order of how you would like the pages to appear in the back end under the pages section, or it also could be used for how you would like the order of the pages to appear in a menu. But it really depends on how your theme and your pages are set up. But we're not going to be using that right now, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we have select layout. You could choose from here how you actually want the pages laid out, whether you want a sidebar on the right or on the left, if you want the pages to be full width, if you'd like the content to be centered, but we're just going to leave that as a default now. And the last thing that we have is featured images. We're going to be using that for a few things, such as to show the icons on the home page for the different pages that we have. So I'm going to show you exactly how that works when we actually start editing the different pages of your website. So overall, this should give you an extremely good overview of the pages section, at least I hope it did. And now we're going to go back to pages by clicking on the pages option on the left. And then it's going to ask us, are we sure we want to leave this page? Because it's basically reminding us that we didn't save our changes. For right now, we're just going to go ahead and click leave this page. But normally you definitely want to click update or publish before leaving if you make any changes to your website, just to make sure they're saved. And now that we're back at the pages section, let's just go ahead and delete that sample page because we're not going to be using that. So you just hover over the title sample page and you click trash. And now we're going to begin adding the pages of our website. Before we do that, there's one setting that we need to change. We need to change the permalink. If you remember, this is the URL for each of the individual pages on your website. But by default, WordPress gives all pages a permalink, which is kind of bad for search engine optimization, not very user-friendly. So we're going to go ahead and change that. So in order to change the permalink, we're going to go ahead and go to Settings on the left-hand side, and we're going to click Permalinks. And if you look here, you can see that WordPress automatically sets the default permalink. So instead of showing the name of the page, like let's begin wp.com/about us, it actually shows a page number instead. So we definitely want to change that. We have several options for what we'd like the permalinks to be changed to. We could switch it to the date and the name of the post or page. And that would basically change the slug of the web page to that specific date and name. The slug is basically the part of the web page after your domain name, which describes the post or the page. And if your website is primarily a blog, then the date is nice because if you have a dated post, then it'll show the date right there in the URL. And this is definitely helpful for someone if they're browsing in Google, and then they'll be able to get an idea about how recent your post is when they're looking at all the other search results. So if they see that your post is the most recent one, then most likely they're going to want to go ahead and read yours first. But if you don't want the date there at all, then we can select post name. A lot of this comes down to personal preference, but for this website, we're going to go ahead and select the slug to be the post name. And you'll see how this looks when we're adding the new pages. But if you prefer to use a different permalink, then you can definitely do that. There's basically no requirements as far as which ones you have to use. And then if we look down a little further, we can also change the category name. So these are the categories of your different blog posts. So for your website, instead of category, you might want it to say topics instead. So you can actually change that by typing in the name topics here. But you'll see with ours that it'll automatically use the word category and then a / and the category name, which will be fine for our website, so we're not going to change that. And then you also have an option to change the slug for tags to something else. Tags are basically keywords that you set which are relevant to a specific post. So if you wanted, you could change the slug, which is normally tags. You could change that to keywords or something else if you wanted to. I typically recommend just leaving that alone and leaving them as the defaults. So we're not going to change them right now. So now that we made the changes to the permalink structure, let's just click Save Changes, and now we're going to add our new pages. So let's go back to the Pages section, and we're going to click on the Add New button. And what we're going to do is add all of the pages without any content right now. What this is going to do is it's going to help us stay organized, and it's also going to make editing our home page and the different pages of our website a lot easier if we already have all the pages there. So the first page that we're going to add is the About Us page. So let's add the title, About Us. And if you look here, you can see the permalink is now changed. So now it shows the post title instead of the page number. So that's great. That's exactly what we wanted. And if you wanted, you could change the name of this particular permalink just by clicking on Edit. And then you could change it to a different name. But I think About Us is fine, so we'll just leave that. And now that we have the title, we have the permalink, let's go ahead and click on Publish, and then we'll add the next page. So the quickest, easiest way to add a new page is just to click on Add New, which is right next to Edit Page. And the next page that we're going to add is going to be the blog page. So we'll have blog as the title, and then we'll click on Publish. And we're going to do the same thing again for the main services page. Okay, so now that we have the main services page, we're going to need to add the individual services pages, which are actually going to be the children of the parent page. But let me explain that a little bit more. Basically, when we first create a page on WordPress, each page is first what's called a parent page. So when you're creating the parent page, you're making the top level page. But you also have what's called children pages or subpages, which are categorized as having one specific page as the parent. So to give you an example, we have one parent page, which is going to be called Services, which we already created, and then we'll have 3 children or subpages under that. So these pages are going to be the services of web design, SEO, and social media. So what's going to happen is people will be able to see that this is part of the services section, either through the link, or depending how the theme is set up, they might see it in other places as well. And it's just going to make everything a lot more organized, but this will make a lot more sense in a moment, so if you don't quite understand it, don't worry right now. So the first page that we're going to add is going to be web design. So if you look on the right hand side, you'll see a section which says parent. So we'll click the drop down next to there, and we'll click services and click publish. And now if you look at the permalink, you can see that it says letsbeginwp.com/services/web design. So you can see it's a lot more organized, and there's a lot of benefits to having parent and children pages, specifically as you start to have a lot of pages on your website. And the next page that we're going to add is going to be SEO. So we'll click Add New, and then we'll add the title, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll click on Parent, we'll click Services, and then we'll click Publish. And then we're going to do the same thing for the social media page. So we'll just go ahead and add the title, we'll select the parent, and we'll click Publish. So now the last two pages that we have are the Contact Us page and the Home page. So let's add the Contact Us page. We'll click Add New. We're going to add the title, and for this we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to select Template. This is going to allow us to add different items on the sidebar only for this specific page, and later we'll be adding a map and contact information section. The good thing about this is we don't want to have a map and contact information on every page, so this is a perfect example of why we would use a page template. It is only going to be shown on this particular contact page, and that map and contact information won't be shown anywhere else, and you see how we'll add that later. So we'll just click the template, and then we'll go ahead and click Publish. And then the last page that we're going to add is the home page. So let's click Add New, or add the title of home page. And then for this particular page, we're also going to select a page template. So we're going to select Business Template. For this theme, that's actually the template that it uses for the home page. So that basically lets WordPress know that there's going to be a unique style for this page, which we're going to be able to customize in a moment. And then we'll click Publish. Okay, so now that we have the pages added, let's go ahead and change some settings so we can get started with customizing the home page. So we go to Settings on the left-hand side, and then we click General. Anytime we are changing the settings, just keep in mind that the settings section typically controls a lot of the options that run and perform different things on your website. So definitely proceed with caution anytime you're making changes here, because it can dramatically change the way that your website performs and what's showing up. So the first thing in the general section that we can update is the title of the web page and the tagline. So if we change the title, it'll change what your users see as the title in the tab or window of the web page, like right here. And it'll also change what shows up in the search engines like Google. So I'm fine with the title that we have right here. We'll just keep that. And then we have the tagline. The tagline will sometimes show up in different places on some themes. So I don't have any problem with the title, but I do want to change the tagline to something more descriptive. So let's just go ahead and change that. We'll just put, learn how to create an amazing WordPress website. But basically here, just put something which helps very briefly describe your website. And then we have your email address. This is the one where you'll receive any notifications for your website. Email address that I have here is fine. I'm not going to change that. And then you have the option to change your time zone. You may want to change that to match yours if it doesn't already. And then you can also choose a date format for your site, and the time format, and when the week starts. But we'll just keep all of that the same. We won't make any changes right there. And we'll just click Save. And then the next section that we need to make changes to is the reading section. So we'll click Reading on the left-hand side. And you'll see that we have a few options here. Right now, it's automatically set to show the most recent posts on the front page of the website, but we don't want to do that. If you have a blog, then this can be fine, but we really want to go ahead and customize our front page, and we don't only want to show the recent posts. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and change the option to a static page for the home page. And we're going to go ahead and use a page which we already created called Homepage. And if you remember, we also set that custom template on that page too. And we're going to tell WordPress that the blog page is the one that we already created called Blog. And then we have a few more options below, but we're not going to change any of those. You also have the option to discourage search engines from indexing this site, which would be used if you're working on a test site and you're just practicing to become familiar with WordPress, or if you have a website which is live online, but you don't want anyone to actually see the site in the search engines because you're still making changes to it. So that could be really useful depending on if you do need to use it for a situation like that. But if you do that, definitely just make sure to go back and uncheck that when you are ready for your site to be live, because if it's still checked, then most likely the search engines aren't really going to be indexing your page and it's not going to show up in the search engines. So now that we have the settings changed, we're going to go ahead and click on Save Changes. And the next thing that I want to show you how to do is add the main menu. So by default, when you first install WordPress and you start making changes to your site and adding pages, WordPress is going to automatically add those pages to the menu bar of your site. And you can see an example of this if we go ahead and look at the home page. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if you see here, it's showing some of the pages that we have on this site. But we want to go ahead and organize the menu and change it so it's exactly how we want it to show up. So in order to do that, let's go back to the back end of the website, which we can do by clicking the page title at the top left of the screen. And we're going to click on Appearance and Menus. And then it's going to ask us what name we want to give the menu. So we're going to call the menu Main Menu, but you can put any name that you want here. Just make sure it's something to be recognized for this specific menu. And then we're going to click Create Menu. And then we're going to tell WordPress that we'd like this to be the primary menu by clicking the checkbox at the bottom here. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to add the items to our menu. So in order to do this, we could check all the pages that we would like to include in the menu. So we'll go ahead and select Home, About Us, basically all the pages. And we're going to click Add to Menu. If you don't see all of the pages in the list here, then you can also click View All, and that's going to show you every page you have on your website. So now that we have the pages added to our menu, let's just change the order slightly to match where we'd like them to be. In order to do this, we just hold down our mouse and we drag the menu item to where you would like it to be. So we'll just go ahead and change a couple of those. And then if you remember, we have the services pages. We actually want them to show up in a drop-down list when someone hovers over services. So in order to do that, we just put our mouse on the particular page that we want to have as part of a drop-down, and then we just slide it over slightly. And what's going to happen is, any of those pages which are slid over are going to be a drop-down of services, because they're indented in that section. And then if you look back on the left-hand side, you also have the option of adding links or categories as well. So if we wanted to do that, you can click on the links button, and you could type in the URL and the text you'd like to show in the main menu, and you could click Add to Menu. I'll just go ahead and add Google just to show you how it works. And then I'll click Add to Menu. And then you see here this shows up on the right-hand side. If we want to go ahead and remove an option, you could just click on the triangle to the right, and then you click Remove. You can also click there if you'd like to edit other things as well, like the title. Just definitely try to keep your titles relatively short so you don't have really long words in the menu. And lastly, you can add categories to the menu. This is going to take your visitors to categories of your blog post once you've created those. So to add a category, it works the same way as the Pages section. Just highlight it and click Add to Menu. One important note that I like to mention, definitely make sure that whenever you're making changes to the menu, that you're 100% sure about what you would like to change before you click Save Menu. Because whenever you make any changes to the menu, there's no undo button. So it could really change your navigation, and then it might be difficult and time consuming to get it back to the way it was before. But everything looks good, and we're sure that we'd like our menu to be laid out this way. So let's just click on Save Menu. And then we're going to take a look at our web page to see how everything looks so far. So you can see here that we have our menu, but right now the home page just looks really boring and it basically has nothing. So let's go ahead and start customizing that, and we'll just start changing things around, and you can see how everything works. So one of the first things that we're going to need to have on our web page is going to be the slider. The slider is basically, you've probably seen it hundreds of places. It's going to be the moving images, which when you first come to a web page, you see the picture, and then it goes ahead and changes to another picture. So let's go ahead and add that first. So in order to do that, we need to get the images that we're going to use for a slider. For that, we're going to use a great website to get completely free images, which you can use for pretty much anything you want. The web page is called stocksnap.io, and all of the images are completely copyright free. So let's go to the website now, and we're going to search for an image. So I'm going to search for laptops, and press enter. Now we'll look for an image that looks good for us to use for the slider. And this one looks like it'll work. So let's click on the image. And now let's scroll to the bottom of the page and we'll click Download High-Res Photo. Now we'll just wait for that to download. And while the image is downloading, if you notice right here, this image and the file size are extremely large. So if we put this image on our site like it is right now, it's really going to cause our homepage to load extremely slow. And of course, we want to make sure that we have the best website possible and make sure our visitors are happy. So we're going to need to compress and resize this image so we'll fit in the slider. But I'll show you exactly how to do that. So if you wanted, you could edit the image with software like Photoshop, but the software is really expensive and it can be overcomplicated for what we need. And not everybody has the software. So I'm going to show you how we can do it with a completely free online program called Pixlr, which I think you'll really like using. So in order to edit our image, we're going to go to www.pixlr.com and we're going to scroll down a little and we're going to click on the Launch Web App button for Pixlr Editor. Then we're going to select Create a New Image, and for the width we're going to put 1268 and for the height we're going to put 453. And I'll show you how I got the exact size that we need in a couple minutes, so don't worry about that. And then we're going to go ahead and click OK. Next, we're going to click Layer and Open Images Layer. Then we're going to find the file which we just downloaded, which for me is in my Downloads directory. And we're going to click Open. Now for this image, it might not look like anything's there right now, if you look at this part right here. But that's because I know that this is a very large image, and I also know that it just happens that the only part that we can see is the white in the top left corner of the image. So that's why it looks like nothing's there. So what we're going to need to do is adjust the image to make it fit onto our canvas. So in order to do that, we're going to click on Edit, and then we're going to click on Free Transform. And you're going to want to grab the edge of the image, and we're going to reduce the image size. When you're doing this, it's really important to make sure you hold down Shift on your keyboard, because if you don't, then the image is going to be distorted. But if you mess up and you want to change the size or anything, don't worry, there's an undo button under Edit. And one thing that you can do is once it does look like it's fairly close, you can actually also move it to the middle of the canvas and then resize it there, because the image is going to resize from the middle and then it gets larger from there, so it might be a little bit easier for you. So when we're finished, we just click anywhere else but the picture, and then it's going to ask us if we want to apply the changes. So we'll click Yes. And now that we're all finished resizing our image, we're going to go to File, and we're going to click Save. And then we're going to give it a file name. And here we're going to keep JPEG selected, and the quality of 80 is okay. And if you look here, you can see the file size is greatly reduced, considering that it was about 12,000 kilobytes before, and is really going to help the load time of our website. So now that we're finished, we're just going to go ahead and click OK. And then you just select where you'd like the file to be saved, and click Save. And now that we have our image saved, we're going to go ahead and add the new slider image to our homepage. So let's go back to our website, and we're going to go to the back end of WordPress. And we're going to click on Appearance. Then we're going to go to Theme Options and Slider. And next we're going to click Activate Slider and Disable Slider in the Post page. And this will basically mean that it won't show up on our blog page, but we actually only want the slider in the home page, so that's perfectly fine. And now we're going to go ahead and upload the slider image. So to do that, we're going to click on Upload, then Upload Files, and then select Files. And then we're going to select our image and click Open. And then we're just going to wait for the image to upload. And once we upload the image, you'll have the ability to edit the title of the image and the alternative text, or alt text. And the title is only used by WordPress's media library when you're looking for it in the list of your media files. The title just helps you locate the file faster in your media library, just in case you're looking for it later. And then we have the alt text, which is really important because that's used to improve accessibility for your website, for people who have poor vision, or for anyone who uses a screen reader device. A screen reader will actually read the entire text article, and then when it comes to an image, then it will say the image alt text. So it's really important for them to be able to know what it is in case they can't see it. So for the alt text, you should always set it as something that's descriptive about the image, and it should be relevant, short, catchy, and concise. So for this image, I could put something like people creating a WordPress website on their computer. So let me go ahead and put that, because that can describe the image. And then we have the caption and the description, and those actually aren't needed right here. So when you do get more advanced with your website, then you might see some plugins that can use that information, but here we're not going to use those. You can just leave those blank. And when we're finished, let's go ahead and click select. And now let's add the title and the description for our slider. This is going to be the text that appears on top of the image. So for the title, we'll just put easily create an amazing website. And for the description, we'll put some placeholder text. So in order to get placeholder text that we can use, let's go to a website called lipsum.com. And we're going to go ahead and click generate. And then we have our placeholder text right here that we can use. So we'll just copy a couple sentences from right here. And then we're going to go back and paste them in the description. And then we're going to enter the URL of the link where we'd like to take people to when they click on the Read More button. So let's go ahead and take them to the web development page. So for that, in order to get the URL, I'm going to go back to our home page. And I'm going to click on Web Development. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy the link. And then I'll go back and paste it into the URL box. And then we're just going to go ahead and add one more slider image. So for this, I actually wanted to show you another option of a great place to get stock photos. This website is called shutterstock.com, and they have amazing stock images, but you actually have to buy one if you'd like to use it. But I still wanted to show you this example, so I did purchase one of the stock images, so I'll show you which one I have. This is the image that I purchased, and it's really easy if you would like to get an image from Shutterstock. You just select the size, you click download, and then it's going to ask you to select a plan and create an account, and then you just download your image. But we won't do that right now, but I just wanted to show you one other option of places where you can get photos. So I already downloaded and resized a photo, so I won't take too much time just showing you the same thing because we just did that for the other slider image. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload the image. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a title called Woman Learning How to Create a Website on the Computer. And for the alt text, I'll put the same thing. And then I'll go ahead and click select. And then we just have to put the title and the description that we'd like for this slider image, and then we're all set. So now we have our slider images. So let's go ahead and click save. And then we'll take a look at how the website looks now. So you can see here that the slider images are now showing up. But do you remember when we were entering the dimensions in Pixlr? I told you that I would tell you exactly how I got the size of the slider image. Well, I want to show you two ways that we can do this. Before making this video, I went over to the theme's demo site to see which size they're using. Which, if you go back to the theme options, you'll see a button which says View Demo, so you can see it right there. But we'll just pretend that this is the demo site, and so I can just give you an example. So for the first option, we could actually use an excellent program called Jing, which I use on a PC, but I believe you can also use it on a Mac as well. And you could download this program at www.techsmith.com/jing.html. And this is a program which I use a lot to take screen captures to send to people. So you can also use it for that. It works fantastic for this. But you can also use it for measuring things on your screen. So if you look at the bottom of my screen, I have a yellow circle icon. This is Jing. So I'll just click on the icon and I'll click capture. And then I'll go to the edge of the picture, I'll hold the mouse down, and then I'm going to drag it to the other edge and let go of the mouse button. And then here you can see that we almost have the exact image dimensions, so it's very close. So I just wanted to show you that. We'll just close this out because I don't want to take a screenshot. I just wanted to show you how we can measure something. And another way to do this, which is a lot more exact, if you use Google Chrome, is you can right-click on the image, and you can click Inspect Element. And then if I put my mouse over where I think the image is in the line of code, then it'll show me the dimensions underneath, and you can see that right here. This way is a little bit more complicated because you may need to know a little bit of HTML code in order to figure out where the image is. But either way, I just wanted to show you two ways which you can get the dimensions of this image. You might not need to use it now, but you never know. Maybe in a few months you'll just have a scenario where you need to know the dimensions of an image, and now you know. So anyway, I hope that helps. So now that we have the slider images, we need to add our call to action banner. This call to action banner is really easy to use, and it's great because you can use it either when you're selling a product or if you're asking someone to contact you. With this, you could just add a link directly to wherever you'd like them to go when they click on the contact or buy now button. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because I know that I'll be needing this in a minute, is I'm going to go ahead and get the URL for the contact page, because that's going to be where I want people to go when they click on the Contact Us button. Since I'm already on the front end of the web page, it'll just save me one more step later. So I'll just go to the contact page and copy the URL. So now in order to add the call to action banner, we're going to have to go to a new section which you might not have seen, and this is called widgets. So let's go ahead and click on appearance and widgets. And widgets are basically different things that appear on the front end of your website. Like it could be a Facebook like box, a search section, a calendar, a list of your recent blog posts, and a lot more other things. So if you look at the section here, you can see all of your available widgets. The widget that we're most interested in using right now is the TG Call to Action widget. So there's two ways which we can use this widget. One is we can click on it, and we can select where we'd like the widget to show up, or we can hold down our mouse and drag it over to whichever sidebar we want it to appear in. And the place where we're going to go ahead and put it is the Business Top Sidebar section. So let's go ahead and drag it over there. And now it's asking me for the main text, the additional text, the button text, and where we want people to go when they click on the button. So for the main text, let's put, you can easily make a beautiful website for yourself or for your business. For the additional text, we'll put, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. And then we'll put contact us for the button. And then we need the place where we want the users to go when they click on the contact us button. So for that, we're going to take them to the Contact Us page. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste a URL to the contact page, which I just copied a minute ago. And now that we've added everything, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And then let's go back to our home page and we can see if the call to action banner is showing up. And there we go. So here you can see the call to action widget right there. And if you click on Contact Us, then it's going to go ahead and take us to the contact page. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So now that we have our call to action banner, the next thing that we're going to do is add 3 sections with icons. You might remember this from when I was showing you the homepage example the first time. And to do that, we're going to need to create 3 separate pages. And these are actually separate from the main pages, and these aren't going to be included in the main menu. So we're just going to go to Pages and add these 3 pages right there. So for the first page, we're going to put the title of We Create Solutions, but you can put any title you like. And this is what's going to be seen in the title of the first section on the home page. And if you remember, there was an icon on top of each one of the sections in the example. So you're going to learn about something else new right here. I'm going to show you an excellent place where you can get completely free icons for you to use on your website. For that, we're going to go to an amazingly useful website called www.iconfinder.com, and we're going to do a search. And I'm going to search for an icon called Control Panel. And then as soon as that loads, on the left-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and select Free and No Link Back. So what No Link Back means is that we can use this icon on our website without putting information about who actually created this icon. But if you're fine with that, then you could just select for commercial use right here. And this icon looks perfect for what we need. So we'll click on the icon, and then we'll check the size. 128 by 128 pixels should be perfect. So we'll select PNG, and we'll download the icon. And then we'll go back over to the page that we're editing, and we'll go to the bottom of the page and click Set Featured Image. And then we'll upload our image. Change the title and the alternate text, and click Set Featured Image, and then we'll publish our new page. And then I'm going to do exactly the same for the other 2 pages, and just to save us time, I already found the other icons that we can use for the other pages from Icon Finder. So I'll just go ahead and create those other 2 pages, and just give me a moment, it's going to be the same thing that we just did. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. And we'll just make the title, we'll put some placeholder text, we'll go down and set the featured image. and then we'll click Publish. We'll just do the title, the text, the featured image, and then we'll click Publish again. And now we're all set. So we'll go back to the widgets section, and we'll go to the Services widget, and now we'll select those 3 pages. And click Save. And now if we go ahead and preview our homepage, we should see those 3 pages right there on the homepage. Excellent, so that looks really good. So the next section that we're going to add is the About Us page widget. So before we do that, let's add our content to our About Us page. So we'll go back to Pages, and then we'll hover over the About Us page title, and we'll click Edit. And here we're going to add a few things. We're going to have a heading, we're going to embed a YouTube video, we're going to add a link, and we're going to add some bolded text. So you're going to see how to do a few things on this page. So the first things first, let's add the heading. So we're going to type some text here, and then we're going to click Toggle Toolbar, or this might already be checked for you, then you won't actually have to click there. And then we're going to click Heading 2. And this is also called an H2 heading, just so you know. And then we're going to put some text underneath. And in a moment, we're going to put a YouTube video underneath the text. So for right now, we'll just put the words YouTube video so we can finish this section, and then we'll add the YouTube video in a moment. So we'll add some more text underneath, and we'll add visit our website for more information. And we'll click on the link icon because we're going to make this into a link. And we'll put the URL in the box, and then we'll put a title as well. And then we'll just click Add Link. And then we're going to put some more text underneath, just placeholder text for right now. And we're going to bold some of that text. And once we're finished, let's just click Preview Page to see how everything looks so far. And everything looks good, except for the only thing that we're missing, which is the YouTube video. So for that, we're going to go to youtube.com, and we're going to search for a video there. And I found one earlier that we can use, so I'll just search for that. The video is called Beachfront B-roll. And here it is right here. So let's just click on the video. And then once the video loads, we're going to click Share. And then we'll click Embed. And we're going to go ahead and copy this embed code that we see right here. And we're going to go back over to our page. And now we're actually going to be editing the HTML code for the first time. So for that, we're going to have to switch from visual view to text view, and we do that by clicking this button right here. And you're going to want to do this anytime you want to edit the HTML code of your page. Visual view is just a way where you can easily see how everything should look, but the text view is actually how the actual HTML code for the web page looks. But you can do either, depending on what you feel comfortable with normally. But if you're adding an actual code to the page, then it has to be under the text view. So we're going to go ahead and paste this embed code right where we have the text YouTube video. And remember that you don't have to put the placeholder text like I did, where it says YouTube video. I just did it to make it easier for you when we switch over to the text view so you can see exactly where it goes. So we'll just put the embed code there. And now we should be all set for the text for the page, but there is one last thing that we need to do before we publish the page and before we add the widget to the About Us section on the home page, and that's to add a featured image for this page. And if you remember from when we went through the initial website walkthrough, there was an image right in between the title and the description on the home page. So let's go ahead and add that image right now. So I'm going to use an image that I already found on stocksnap.io, and I already adjusted the size to 642 by 275 pixels on Pixlr. So I did all that just to save you time right here, since you already know how to do it. And I found the size by using inspect element on the demo page, but you can also use Jing if you want, or you might have another method if you want to find the size of an image. So we'll go ahead and go to set featured image. We're going to upload the file that I already edited earlier. We'll select the image. For the title and the alt text, let's put learn how to create an amazing web page with Let's Begin WP. And then we'll click on set featured image. And now we should be all set. And now that we have the About Us page finished, we're going to go back over to the Widgets section. So in order to do that, we'll go to Appearance, and then Widgets. And then we're going to click on the TG, Featured, Single Page Widget, and click Business, Middle, Left Sidebar, because that's where we'd like the widget to go. And then we'll click Add Widget. And then we'll put a title to our widget, so we'll put About Our Company. And we'll select Show Image After Title. But you could also select it to show before, but I just thought it looks better this way. And then we'll go ahead and click Save. So now that the widget's added, let's go ahead and look at the home page and see how everything looks. So now, as you can see here, we have the About Us page featured on the home page. But you know what? I really don't like how it automatically shows the first few sentences of the About Us page here. What I'd really like to do is show you how to customize this and have the text show exactly what you want it to show here. So let's go ahead and change that. So we'll click on the Read More button, which will take us to the About Us page. And then we'll click on Edit Page at the top. Now, what we want to change is called the excerpt, but you might be wondering, how do we do that? Because there's nothing here that says excerpt. We only have the title, the description, and we don't have too many options here. So in order to do that, I'm going to show you another section. So if you look right here, you're going to see a button which says Screen Options. So let's go ahead and click here. And now you can see that we have a whole other section of options of things which we can change. So we're going to go ahead and click the checkbox next to the excerpt. And then we're going to close the box by clicking the Screen Options button again. And now if we scroll down the page, you'll see that there's a section now that says Excerpt, and it has a little box underneath that. So here's where we can actually put the text that we would like to put on the main page. So now I'm just going to go ahead and copy some text I wrote before, and I'll put it in the box there. And then we'll go ahead and click Update. And then once that's updated, let's go ahead and go back to our home page, and we'll take a look at the About Us section and see if that changed. So now if we look at the About Us widget, we can see that it shows exactly what we want it to show, and not just a few first sentences from the About Us text on the page. So that's not too difficult to change, right? But it's definitely going to come in handy to know about that excerpt section, because if you're using different types of themes or even different types of plugins, the excerpt may come in handy for just changing things and showing different things you want to show in specific spots. So it's just another good thing to know. So now that we're finished that, the next thing that we're going to do is add the testimonial section. So in order to do that, I'll show you a little shortcut to go to the widget section. We can mouse over the page name on the top left, and we'll click on Widgets. And then we're going to click on TG Testimonials. And we're going to go ahead and add that to the business middle right sidebar. And then we'll just click Add Widget. And then we need to add a title for the widget. So for that, I'm going to put what people are saying. And then underneath that, we're going to put in the person's testimonial and the person's name. So I'll just copy and paste text for their testimonial in here, and I'll put their name. And if you're wondering what byline means, that means that we can basically put either their title, their company, or whatever else we'd like to have next to their name. So I'll put John Smith, and then for the byline, I'll put company name, just so you can see how this works. And then we'll just do this one more time so we can add another testimonial. But for the next one, I'm not actually going to put a title because I don't think it's necessary, since what people are saying will be the main title for both testimonials. But of course, if you would like to, you could have another title for the second testimonial section as well. So we'll just add in the information here. And then we'll click on Save. And now that we have the testimonial section, we need to add the featured services section. And this is actually going to be the 3 pages with images which appear towards the bottom of the home page. So for this, if you didn't want to put services, then you could put pictures of 3 videos that you recorded, and then when people click on those, then it'll take them to your videos. Or you could put view our staff and have 3 pages with information about different people in your staff, like the founder, marketing director, anybody that you'd like to put there. There's a lot of possibilities for what you could put for these 3 pages. So in order to add this section, let's go ahead and click on the widget called TG Featured Widget, and we'll add that to the business bottom sidebar. And then we're going to put a title, and we're going to put a description. This basically shows on the left-hand side of the 3 images for the pages. And then we're going to select the 3 pages which we would like to show on the bottom of the home page. And these are going to be the pages that we created earlier. So we're going to put web design, we're going to put SEO, and social media. And then we're going to click save. And now the next thing that we need to do is just go back and edit those 3 pages. So we're going to go to the pages section, and let's go to web design. So for the web design page, I'm just going to put some placeholder text here, and then I'm going to click on set featured image. And the featured image is going to be one that I actually found on another website called dreamstime.com. And this has a lot of great stock images. Now the only thing with Dreamstime is you do need to purchase the images, but I still want to show you this anyway, because I actually have a subscription to here because they do have some excellent images and it's very easy to get them and they're good quality for different client websites. And if it's the first time you're using Dreamstime, you can probably find a coupon code online if you just Google Dreamstime coupon. I've definitely seen a few floating around before. So let me show you the original image that I got on their website just so you can see how it looks. And this one is actually excellent because it has 4 images, all from the same author, so they look very similar. So what you can do is you can actually just download this one image and you get all 4 of them. So then you could just cut out the one image that you want to use for one section and you still have 3 other ones you can use throughout your website. So I already downloaded this image and edited it in Pixlr, and it was really easy to use. Basically I just cropped out the one image that I wanted to use and saved it, and then I did the same process again for the other couple images. But of course, for this section, you can use a picture that you took personally, you can use a free image from StockSnap, or you can even use an icon from Icon Finder. I just wanted to show you another great resource that you can use if you're doing either client websites or if you really want to do a professional website yourself and you want to have some really good quality images, so you're just not limiting yourself to just one place. So we'll go ahead and set that as a featured image. So let me go ahead and upload that. We'll give it a title. We'll give it alternate text, and then we'll click publish. So now let's go back to our pages, and we're going to do the same for SEO and for social media. And for the featured images for those pages, we're just going to go ahead and use the other sections that I cut out from the one main image. So let's go ahead and edit the SEO page. So we're going to go ahead and click on edit. We're going to put in some placeholder text. Let's go down, we're going to upload our featured image. We're going to give it a title, we're going to give it an alternate text, and we'll click save, and then we'll go back up and click publish. And now we'll go back and do the same thing for social media. We'll click on edit. We're going to go ahead and put placeholder text there as well. We'll upload our featured image. We'll add the title, alt text, click save, and then we'll go back up and click publish. And now that's all finished, let's just take a look at our homepage. So here we go, I think it looks excellent. We have the slider, we have the information about our company, we have the testimonials, and we have the services pages. So I think we did a really good job here. So now that our homepage is just about all finished up, the next thing that we need to do is edit our main services page. So let's go to that page now. So we'll go ahead and click on services from the menu bar. And then we're going to click on edit page at the top. And on this page I'd like to show you how we can have a heading with text underneath, and then how we can put a picture on the right hand side of this text. This is also called wrapping text around an image. So let's go ahead and first add our heading. For that we're going to put our services and just make it into a heading. And then we'll go ahead and put some text underneath that. This could be some brief information about the services you offer, or it could be information about what clients you provide your services to, really anything that you want to put here. So we're just going to put some placeholder text for right now. But the main thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add an image to the right side of this text. So to add the image, we're going to go ahead and click actually on the left side of the text before the paragraph starts. And then we're going to click Add Media. And then we're going to go ahead and upload an image. We'll just do one of the images that I have here in the folder, just so you can see how this works. And then we'll give it a title of Learn How to Make a Web Page with Let's Begin WP. We'll do the same thing for the alternate text. And we don't need a caption or description here. And then for the alignment, we're going to select right. And this is the part where it tells WordPress that we would like this image to go on the right side of the text in this paragraph. And then under that, we're going to click None for the link, because we don't want anyone to be able to click on this image to go anywhere. And for the size, we'll put medium. And then we'll click Insert into Page. And then we'll go ahead and click Update and take a look at the page to see if everything looks okay. And now you can see here we have a very nice service page. So that's something that's very common that you might want to do on your pages, so I thought it would be good for you to be able to see how to do that. So now you can see how we can make the main service page. We've already done the individual services. So the next thing that we're going to work on is setting up your blog and posting articles. So to get started on that, let's go back to the back end of the website. And we're going to click on Posts. And before we get started, let me just explain a little bit about the difference between posts and pages. So pages are normally static, and they don't really change with time. But with posts, you have some sort of time or date signature. So with a blog post or article, they get older with time, which doesn't mean that it's still not useful or relevant information. It just means that as it gets older, it'll move down the list, and then newer posts will appear towards the top of the list. So when you're thinking about what you would put in a post, this would be something like a blog entry, an update, or a news article. But anyway, don't worry if the difference between posts and pages doesn't make a lot of sense yet. You'll understand a lot better when we actually go through and start adding our first post. So to give you a good idea about everything, let's go ahead and add our first blog post. So we've already clicked on posts. So if you look here on the right hand side, we have a sample post. And we're just going to go ahead and delete that. This is just a placeholder post that WordPress puts just to either make sure everything is working okay or to give you an idea of what a sample post looks like. It's just like the sample page that you saw before. And then we're going to go ahead and click Add New. And one of the first things that we're going to do is give this post a title. So we'll give it a title of 12 Common Web Design Mistakes, which might be a good article that people would be interested in. And then in the body, we'll just put some more placeholder text. And then if you look on the right hand side, you'll see there's a few additional options that you didn't see when we were editing the pages. So the first thing that we see, which is different, is categories. And what categories are is they're basically a way to organize your post into specific relevant groups. And here you can put whatever categories you like in order to organize your posts. So if you want to add a category, just click Add New Category, and then you type in the category name, and then you click the Add New Category button, but we're not going to do that right now. One thing that I would recommend is just refrain from categorizing a single post into too many categories, because you never know how search engines are going to organize your post, so it would be best just to select one main category for your blog post. And I've been on some websites where someone writes a post and then selects 8 different categories, but the problem is that this gets somewhat confusing not only for the people who are coming to see a specific thing on your website, but also it's really confusing for the search engines to figure out how the post should be categorized. So for that reason, you should really try to limit the number of categories, so maybe 1 or a maximum of 2 if there's different categories that could fall in. But for right now, I'm actually going to select uncategorized for this post because we can't actually delete this category, but we can rename it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that in a moment. And then we have tags. Tags are another way of organizing your content. Think of tags somewhat like keywords. You can have multiple tags for a post, and then people can also find similar posts which have the same tags. So it's basically another way of just grouping content together. But you don't have to worry so much about limiting the number of tags like you do for categories, but you might not want to go crazy and have 100 tags for a post. Just pick the most relevant tags or keywords, as you could think of it, which relate to the post, and you just add them in here. But just make sure to separate each one with a comma if you have multiple ones, because that's the way the WordPress can distinguish one tag from another. So we'll just add a couple tags. We'll put web design and we'll put SEO, because most likely this post would have some content about either web design or SEO. And then we have the option to select the layout, but we're not going to go ahead and change that right now. And lastly, we have the featured image section, which you're already familiar with. With this particular theme, the featured image that you upload here is going to appear after the title of the post on your list of blog posts. So we'll just upload any image here just so you can see how it works. So I'll just select one of the images I have in the folder here, and then we'll give it a title, alt text, and we'll click Set Featured Image. And then we'll go back up and click Publish. And then there you have it. You've created your first blog post. So this will automatically appear under the blogs on your website now. Okay, so now we have our blog post. Let's go ahead and rename the default post category from uncategorized to something else. I've seen so many websites where people just leave it as uncategorized, but I never like to do that because it always looks like they just don't care to categorize it, or there's something missing that they forgot to do. So let's go ahead and click on categories on the left hand side, and we'll just hover over the title uncategorized and click edit. And for the name, let's put a name which can be a sort of a catch-all name that will suit any type of blog topic. Just in case you forget to categorize your post, then this will automatically be selected when you publish it. So I'm just going to put general here for right now, but you could just put whatever name personally works best for you. And then we'll click update. So now that the categories are updated, I'd like to tell you really quickly about comments, because we shouldn't talk about blog posts without talking about comments. And while you now can do just about any type of web page with WordPress, it originally started as primarily a blogging platform. So when people wrote blog posts, then the users could write comments underneath, and that hasn't changed. You can still allow people to write comments on your blog post. But what's very helpful is that WordPress has a comment manager, which allows you to approve and delete these comments or mark them as spam. So I want to show you that and just give you a little bit of an overview about comments. So let's go ahead and click on comments on the left hand side, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So one of the biggest fears that people have when they start writing blog posts is that some people will be able to say or do whatever they want on their websites and they'll have no control over it. But you don't have to worry about that, because if you would like to moderate your comments before they're live on your site, you could definitely do that. When a comment comes in, you'll have the option to approve it, reply to it, mark it as spam, or delete it. The reply feature is nice because when you have a really nice comment on your website, you can click reply and thank them for posting the comment. And then whatever you wrote shows up underneath their comment. And the spam option is another nice feature also, because if you do receive a spam comment, which you most likely will, it's inevitable whenever you have a blog online, then instead of trashing it, you can click spam, and then that'll help to prevent spam in the future. And one thing I'd like to mention, when your website is live, don't take comment spam personally. Most likely it's just an automated bot that's posting things onto your website. So don't worry about it, just mark it as spam and go on with your day. And if you'd like to have a little more control over how your comments are handled, then you can go to Settings and Discussions. And you have a lot of options to control how comments are handled. And I could show you that, just to give you an idea. So for example, you might want to select comment must be manually approved. So then none of your comments will be posted on the website unless you approve them. If you wanted to select that, then just click the checkbox right here and click save at the bottom, but I'm not going to change that right now. So we've gone over pages, we've gone over blog posts, and now we just went over comments. So I'd like to tell you first, congratulations for sticking with everything so far. We're just about finished up. There's just the last few things that we need to do. And one of these things is to add a contact form to your contact page so people can get in touch with you. So to do that, we're going to actually use an excellent plugin called Contact Form 7. So we're going to go over to Plugins, then we're going to go to Add New, and we're going to search for Contact Form 7. And there it is. So we'll go ahead and click Install Now. And we'll click Activate. And then if you look on the left hand side, you'll see that we have a new option called Contact. So let's go ahead and click there. And you can see here that we already have a contact form that's been created for us called Contact Form 1. So we could just go ahead and use that. Normally the general setup's adequate for most people. And if you scroll down, you can see that there's an option to set the email address where you would like your message to go to. And you can set the subject, and you can change the body of the message. And you can, like I said, you can do pretty much anything with this contact form. The last website I created for a client a few days ago actually used contact form 7, but I also added a signature pad into the contact form so people could sign their signature before submitting the form, and then it was sent over to the client in email. So you'll see that once you start to get a little more experience that there's a lot of things that you can do with this plugin and with so many other plugins also. So we're not going to change anything on this section. The only thing that I'm going to do is just copy the shortcode so we can paste it onto our contact page. And if you're not familiar what a shortcode is, it's basically a block of text which allows you to create objects that would normally require a lot of code. But you can do it just with one single line of text, like you can see right here. And you'll see how that works in a second. So now we're going to go over to our contact page, and we're going to paste that shortcode that I just copied into the body of the web page. And then we'll click Update. So now you can see that we already have a beautiful contact form on our web page, one that already matches the colors of our website. And the sidebar might look the same, but in a moment we're going to add our sidebar widgets, so that'll go ahead and change. So let's first go ahead and test out our contact form really quick, just to see if everything's working properly. So I'll just put in name, email, quick message, and click send. And you'll see it says message sent successfully. So I'll go ahead and check my email and just see if it went through. And there we go. I received the email, everything went through successfully, so it's working perfect. And you can see why I really like using this contact form. It's so easy to set up, it automatically matches the look and feel of your website, so overall it's an excellent plugin. I haven't had any problems with it. So now all we have left to do is just to change the sidebar on the contact page, to add the widgets on the footer, and to design and add our new logo. So we're going to go ahead and get 2 more plugins. So we'll go ahead and click Plugins. We're going to click Add New. And the first plugin that we're going to go ahead and get is called Facebook Widget. So let's find that. And then we're going to go ahead and install and activate that one. And now that that's activated, we're going to go back. And we're going to get another plugin called Google Maps Widget. So let's install and activate that one too. And then you might see a box at the top which says about tracking anonymous usage data. You can either allow or deny that depending on what you want to do. I'll just click Do Not Allow Tracking. And then we're going to go back to our widgets section. And the first widget that we're going to add is the Google Maps widget. So we're going to add that to our contact page sidebar. So we'll go ahead and give it a title Contact Info. And then what this is going to do is it's going to go ahead and show a map of whatever address we put in the box right here. So we'll go ahead and add our address we'd like to show the map for. And then we're going to keep everything else the same, except for the section which asks what would we like to put below the map. So for that, let's enter our contact info. I'll put a company name on the first line. We'll put Let's Begin WP. We'll put a phone number here. We'll put an email address. And then we'll put a website address underneath. And then we'll click Save. And now let's take a look at our contact page and we'll see how everything looks. Okay, so you can see here that we have the map on the right hand side and we have our contact info underneath. And I think it looks really good. I think it looks good, but I don't think it looks great. So what I actually want to do is I want to show you how you can make this look a little bit better if you want to. We can add a little HTML code which is going to go ahead and make this look even better than how it does right now. If you don't want to use the HTML, that's fine, but I'm just really a stickler about design and I always want everything to look the best that they can. So let me show you how to do it another way. So let's go back over to the widget and we're going to do what's called an unordered list. So in order to do this, we need to have a piece of code which tells a website that we're going to have an unordered list here. And with that, it'll give a little styling to the contact information. So we need to first put UL in brackets, and that's going to tell the website that we're going to start an unordered list. And then the next thing that we need to do is tell it what's on the list. And then we're going to put LI in brackets before the first list item. And then we have to put LI with brackets with a / after the list item to let the website know that that's one of the items on the list. And then we'll do the same for the other items that we'd like on the list. And then anytime you have a piece of code, we need to tell the website that we're now finished with that code. So we'll go ahead and close the unordered list with UL in brackets with a / and we'll click Save. And now let's take a look at the contact form. You'll see that it's most likely going to look a little different now. And there we go. So you can see it looks a lot better now. It's separated a little bit with a dividing line underneath each item. So it's a very minor change, but I think it does make a difference for how it looks on the contact information, especially since this is the last page that people will probably see before they're contacting us. So now I think we're about finished with our contact page. And then if you remember, I mentioned before, this website is responsive. So if we go ahead and make the browser smaller, then you'll see this page is going to completely change depending on the size of the browser. And the rest of the website is going to do that too because it's all responsive. So now we're just about finished. There's just a couple things we're missing. We're missing the footer items on the bottom of the web page. And I also want you to see how you can add a Facebook like box and a recent post widget on the sidebar of the other pages of the website. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the widget section. And then we're going to go ahead and add the Facebook widget that we downloaded the plugin for earlier to the right sidebar. So we'll click on the Facebook widget, we'll click right sidebar, and then we'll click Add Widget. Now it's going to ask us for the title, for the Facebook application ID, and for the Facebook page URL. So for the title, let's put Like Us on Facebook. And the Facebook application ID is actually unique for this plugin, so we're not going to go ahead and make any changes to that. And then all we need to do is just put the URL of our Facebook page. And we'll click Save. And then the last widget that we're going to add for our sidebar is the Recent Post widget. So we'll just go ahead and drag that over, just to do something different. And we'll give it a title of Our Recent Posts. And we'll click Save and Close. And then there's just a few widgets that are still on our sidebar. So let's delete all of them, except for Recent Posts and the Facebook widget. And then I'd like to have the Facebook widget so it appears before the recent posts. So we'll just drag that up and move it to the top. And we're just going to assume that the Facebook like box and the recent posts look great, so we won't look at the pages yet. But let's just talk about our progress up until now. So far we've done a lot. We've got our hosting and domain name, we've completely customized our homepage, we've learned how to get free pictures and free custom icons, we've learned about widgets, plugins, changing settings, added a contact form, learned a little about HTML, and now the last two things that we need to do is add our footer items and the logo. And then we're all finished our new website. So let's go ahead and add our footer items right now. The first item that we're going to put on our footer is going to be the About Us section. This is going to be simple text. So that's going to be in the footer sidebar 1. So for that, we're going to go ahead and use the text widget. And we're going to put a title of About Us. And we're going to put a few sentences to just describe our company here. And we're going to click Save. And now the second section is going to be Recent Posts. And that's going to be in the footer sidebar 2. And the third is going to be quick links. I want to show you this because I want to show you how to make a separate menu so that you have a really good idea about how you can do different things and customize your site. So we'll do that in a moment. And then the last widget is going to be the contact info. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to go ahead and add another text widget, and we're going to put the same code that I showed you how to make earlier with the unordered list and line items. So again, you could just put the text here, but I think the code makes it look a little bit nicer. So I'll just copy and paste that because we already made that before. So now that we have the three widgets, let's go ahead and make our quick links menu. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to menu on the left hand side. And we're going to be creating a new menu. So we'll go ahead and call it quick links and click create. And then we'll also select to show this in the footer because you'll also notice that there's a really tiny menu on the website on the bottom right. So we'll also put the menu there just to make it easier for people to go to different pages. And then we're going to add some of the pages that people would most likely be visiting and just need to access quickly and easily. So we'll add About Us, Services, Blog, and Contact Us. And then when we're finished adding those, we'll click Save. And there you have it. We have a new menu. So let's go ahead and go back to our widgets section, and we're going to add a custom menu to footer sidebar 3. And we'll give it a title of Quick Links. And we'll click Save. And now we're almost finished our website. The last thing that we need to do is just design and add our logo, and that's it. So let's get started on creating our new logo. In order to do that, we're going to go back to iconfinder.com, and we're going to see if we can find an image that looks good for our logo. I saw an icon before that I like, so I'm going to go ahead and search for that one and see if I can find it. So let's go ahead and search for calendar, and then we'll select free, and no link back, just like before. And then we'll scroll down a little. And here's the one that I think looks good for our logo. So let's go ahead and click on the icon. And we'll go ahead and save the icon. And then now we're going to go to pixlr.com, the same photo editor that we were using before. And we're going to go ahead and click Editor, and then Create New Image. And we're going to give the image a size of 280 by 85 pixels. And we're going to select Transparent for the background. And click OK. And I'm just going to make this box a little larger so it doesn't feel so crowded when we're making the logo. You don't have to if you don't want to, just personal preference there. And now we're going to go ahead and go to Layer and Open Images Layer, same as we did before. And we're going to go ahead and select the image and click Open. And now we're going to adjust the size of the image by going to Edit and Free Transform. And we're just going to make it a little smaller and move it over so it fits nicely. And just remember to hold down Shift when changing the size of the icon, just so it keeps the same aspect ratio. And after we're finished, just click anywhere else, and then we'll click Yes to apply the changes. And now that we have the image for our logo, let's go ahead and add our text. So we're going to first click on the black A on the left-hand side. And then we're going to click where we'd like the text to go. Then let's type the text for the first line. I'll put Let's Begin. And then we'll select the font. And we'll change the font size to 25. And let's make the color a lighter gray. So we'll just click on the color square here. And we'll select the color that we'd like to change it to. And we'll click OK. And now we're going to click where we would like the second line of text to go. For the second line, we'll put WordPress. And then we'll select the font. And we'll give it a size of 33. And we'll change the text color to a blue color. And we'll click OK. And then we'll just change the position of the text slightly just to make sure it's exactly where we want it to be. And we did that by clicking on the arrow with a cross on the top left and holding the mouse button down to move the text. Or we can also use the arrow keys on your keyboard, whatever's easier for you. And there we go. I think it looks really good, so let's go ahead and save our logo. So in order to do that, we'll go to File, Save, and we'll select PNG because we want the background to be transparent. If we select JPEG, then it's automatically going to have a white background, and we don't want that, especially if we want to use the logo in other places which might not have a white background. And we'll just give it a name and click Save. And now let's go back to our web page and add the logo. So we're going to click on Appearance, Theme Options, and we're going to click Upload. And then let's select the file that we just saved, and we're going to click Open. And then let's change the title and the alt text when we're at it. And we'll click Select. And then let's just make sure that we select Show Header Logo Only. And then we'll scroll down a little, and we'll click Save. And then one final thing that you might want to do is change the little icon that you see right here so that it matches our logo. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to Icon Finder. And we're going to get the smaller version of the icon that we use for our logo. So we're going to click on 16 by 16. And we're going to click PNG. So now we'll go back to our website and we'll click on Additional, and then we'll click Activate Fave Icon. And for future reference, that's what the tiny icon at the top is called. It's called a fave icon. And we'll upload our icon. And then we'll click Save Options. And now if we reload our website, then the icon at the top should change to the icon that we just selected. And there it is. And that's it. So I'd like to tell you congratulations because now we're officially finished our brand new website. And this is a website that some developers could charge thousands of dollars to do for you, but now you actually know exactly how to do this yourself. So let's go over to our homepage and we'll take a look at our finished product. So now you can see on the homepage that we have a great looking website that you could use either for yourself or for your business. We have our slider, we have our call to action banner, we have the About Us and the testimonial section, we have our featured services section, and we have our footer menu, which is now showing all of our 4 widgets. But you can see here the recent post section will look a lot better once you add 3 more posts. So you could either put a different widget here, or you could just add 3 small blog posts to balance everything out, and then that'll make it the same size as the other widgets. And then let's take a look at our inner pages. Let's go to the About Us page, and here we have our YouTube video that we embedded onto the page. And now we have our Facebook like box and the recent post widget. And then if we go to the services page, we have our text, which is wrapped around the image. So you learned how to do that, and that'll definitely come in handy for you. And then we'll go over to our blog, and we can see that we have our very first blog post. And if we click on the post, then we can see the full text of the actual post here. And then lastly, we have our contact page, which now has a fully functional contact form. So that's about it. So I hope that this training video has shown you that you can actually make a great website for either yourself or for your company without any experience at all. The reason that I want you to be able to do something like this is because I know you have a message, a service, or a product, and you simply cannot help people or make any money unless you take the first step and see that you really can do this. So I've met so many wonderful people who are struggling with trying to find a web developer, or they're paying a ridiculous amount of money for something that they could do themselves. But what sometimes happens is that they have something that they want to offer to people, but instead of getting their message, their products, or their services online, they hesitate because they think that it's just too difficult or that they can't do it. So this whole training series is training you on how you can actually do this for yourself, whether you want to have a career as a professional developer, or even if you just want to get something online and have absolutely no idea what HTML, CSS, or any other programming language is. So in the next video, now that you've had an excellent overview about how to create your first website, and you can see that you actually can do this, our next video is going to take this a step further and cover how you can make a website dynamic and interactive without knowing any complicated or advanced coding. And also I'm going to teach you some secrets and shortcuts that web developers use to make their websites look amazing and work great. So you'll be able to use these whether today is your first day learning about website development or if you've had years of experience. So with that, one call to action. I've shown you exactly how to make an incredible web page yourself, so all you need to do is follow the video step by step and just get started. And as you're going through the process, share a link to your webpage in the comment box below because I would love to see it. And please also post any questions or comments that you have below, and I'll make sure to respond to them personally. And once you do take the first step and get started with this, you're going to see that your life really can change, just like it did for me. So I hope that this video is a good start, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video when I show you the secrets and shortcuts that you can use to make your website dynamic and interactive. So take the first step and start making a difference in your life today.